On September 17, 2024, the world was shaken by news of a devastating attack on Hezbollah, the Lebanese militant group. The incident quickly became the focal point of international news, drawing reactions from governments and organizations worldwide. The attack, attributed to Israel, resulted in over 3,000 injuries and sent shockwaves through the region. Hospitals were overwhelmed with the influx of injured civilians, and emergency responders worked tirelessly to provide aid amidst the chaos. What made this attack particularly shocking was the unconventional weapon used: pagers. These everyday devices, once a staple of communication, were repurposed into tools of destruction, leaving experts baffled and raising questions about the future of warfare. The attack took place in southern Lebanon, a Hezbollah stronghold. This area, known for its strategic importance, has been a focal point of tension and conflict for decades. The region, bordering Israel, has long been a hotbed of conflict. The border area is heavily fortified, with both sides maintaining a constant military presence, making the attack even more surprising. Hezbollah, heavily armed and with a vast network of tunnels and bunkers, poses a significant threat to Israel's security. Their extensive preparations and fortifications have made them a formidable adversary in the region. The attack, however, demonstrated a vulnerability that no one had anticipated. Military analysts and experts are now re-evaluating the potential threats posed by seemingly innocuous devices and the implications this has for future conflicts. The world watches closely as the situation continues to unfold, with many wondering what the next move will be in this ongoing struggle. Southern Lebanon is more than just a geographical location. It's a symbol of Hezbollah's power and influence. The group, founded in the 1980s, has deep roots in the region. Over the years, Hezbollah has established a complex infrastructure, including military training camps, weapons depots, and a sophisticated communication network. Hezbollah's strength lies not only in its military capabilities, but also in its social and political influence. The group provides essential services to the local population, operating hospitals, schools, and social welfare programs. This deep-rooted presence makes dislodging Hezbollah a formidable challenge. In the age of smartphones and encrypted messaging apps, the use of pagers might seem like a relic of the past. However, for Hezbollah, pagers offered a reliable and secure means of communication, particularly for coordinating operations and transmitting sensitive information. Pagers operate on a simple radio frequency, making them difficult to intercept or track. Unlike cell phones, which can be easily located, pagers provide a higher level of anonymity. Hezbollah's reliance on this seemingly outdated technology, however, inadvertently created a critical vulnerability. The attack on Hezbollah was the result of a meticulously planned and executed covert operation by Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency. Mossad, known for its daring operations and intelligence-gathering capabilities, had been monitoring Hezbollah's communication network for years. Recognizing the group's reliance on pagers, Mossad devised an audacious plan to infiltrate the pager supply chain and rig the devices. The operation involved identifying the manufacturers and distributors of the specific pagers used by Hezbollah. Once identified, Mossad agents were tasked with intercepting the shipments and tampering with the devices. Section 5. The devastating impact. The rigged pagers were designed to detonate upon receiving a specific signal. On September 17, 2024, the signal was sent, triggering a series of explosions across southern Lebanon. The impact was immediate and devastating. Thousands of Hezbollah operatives and civilians were injured in the blasts. The attack sowed panic and confusion. Hospitals were overwhelmed with casualties, and emergency services struggled to respond to the crisis. The attack exposed the vulnerability of Hezbollah's communication network and the human cost of the ongoing conflict. Section 6. Outrage and condemnation. The attack drew immediate condemnation from the international community. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting, with many member states expressing outrage over the use of such unconventional tactics and the high number of civilian casualties. Human rights organizations condemned the attack as a violation of international law, arguing that the targeting of civilians and the use of indiscriminate weapons constitute war crimes. The attack reignited the debate over the ethics of modern warfare and the use of covert operations. Section 7. Ethical and legal concerns. The use of rigged pagers in the attack raised profound ethical and legal questions. These devices, often seen as mundane communication tools, were transformed into instruments of violence, sparking outrage and condemnation from various quarters. Critics argued that the attack was indiscriminate and disproportionate, causing unnecessary suffering to civilians. The images of innocent people caught in the crossfire fueled a global debate on the morality of such tactics. The attack blurred the lines between conventional warfare and terrorism, with some drawing parallels to the tactics employed by non-state actors. This raised concerns about the erosion of established norms in warfare and the potential for increased civilian casualties. Legal experts debated whether the attack constituted a war crime under international law. The discussions centered around the principles of proportionality and distinction, which are cornerstones of humanitarian law. The Geneva Conventions prohibit the use of weapons that cause indiscriminate harm and require warring parties to distinguish between combatants and civilians. Violations of these principles can lead to severe legal repercussions and international condemnation. The attack on Hezbollah, however, demonstrated the challenges of applying these principles in the context of modern warfare. As conflicts become more complex and urbanized, distinguishing between combatants and civilians becomes increasingly difficult, raising the stakes for ethical and legal accountability. The international community continues to grapple with these issues, seeking ways to uphold humanitarian principles while addressing the realities of modern conflict. The debate over the use of rigged pagers is just one example of the broader challenges faced in ensuring ethical conduct in warfare. Section 8. Shifting the balance. In the ever-volatile landscape of the Middle East, power dynamics are constantly in flux. The recent attack, though controversial, has undeniably shifted the balance of power in the region. The attack, despite its controversial nature, had a significant impact on the balance of power in the region. The explosions and military maneuvers left a lasting mark on the urban landscape, altering the course of the conflict. Hezbollah, once considered invincible, was exposed as vulnerable. The group's fighters, who once exuded confidence, now appeared tense and uncertain. The flag that once symbolized their strength now fluttered in the wind, a stark reminder of their newfound vulnerability. The attack disrupted the group's communication network and sowed fear and uncertainty within its ranks. The destruction of their communication equipment left them scrambling to coordinate, while the chaos in the conflict zone further eroded their sense of security. The attack also sent a clear message to Hezbollah's backers, Iran and Syria. The political leaders of these nations, often seen in meetings and military parades, were now forced to reconsider their strategies and support. Israel, through this operation, demonstrated its willingness to take preemptive action and its ability to strike at the heart of its enemies. The sight of Israeli fighter jets taking off and soldiers preparing for their mission underscored the nation's resolve and military prowess. The attack, however, also carried the risk of escalating tensions and igniting a wider regional conflict. The streets filled with protesters, the skirmishes in urban areas, and the regional map marked with escalating conflict zones all pointed to the precarious balance that now hung in the balance. Section 9. The broader implications. The attack on Hezbollah had implications that extended far beyond the immediate region. The attack highlighted the changing nature of warfare, where technology and unconventional tactics are playing an increasingly prominent role. The attack also underscored the volatile situation in the Middle East and the potential for even seemingly isolated incidents to spiral out of control. The international community, already grappling with multiple crises, faced the challenge of responding to this latest escalation. The attack underscored the need for a renewed commitment to dialogue, diplomacy, and the peaceful resolution of conflicts. Section 10. The Path Forward. The attack on Hezbollah was a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the urgent need for peace. While the attack may have achieved its tactical objectives, it also raised profound ethical and legal questions that demand careful consideration. The path forward requires a commitment to dialogue, de-escalation, and addressing the root causes of conflict. The international community has a responsibility to work towards a just and lasting peace in the Middle East, ensuring the security of all people and preventing future tragedies.